Kind of lock the door. This is a very secret spin rack right now. We're recording, and we got Mars right here. Mars, take it
Hey everybody,
away.
welcome back to the Spinner Rack. Me and the guys were talking, so we wanted to find out, what do you think, what franchise or what movie would you want to see made if you had an opportunity to do it, made into a film? So I'm asking the boys right now, Cal and Petey, say what's up, guys.
What up?
Ready to rock once more.
So Petey, what film or franchise would you, if you could make, would want to make it? What film do you want to do?
All right, so we taking a TV franchise, TV show, and making it a movie.
Show, if you had the opportunity, you would say, "Hey, this is a film that I really would love to. If my vision of it would be such and such, and this is what."
Okay,
so
I'm gonna chime in and say a show I was kind of iffy on, but at the same time, these actors are still around. They still, have pretty decent names. I want to see a film version of Alias in the present day. And we find out that Bradley Cooper, who was the guy in the friend zone, is actually, because obviously he's Bradley Cooper, you got to do something with him. He's actually was like a sleeper agent or like a spy or something like that, because he obviously can't be the guy in the friend zone anymore. We got to do something big with him. And then they have a big action romp.
Interesting. That's so wow. Alias. I wouldn't have thought. So who would have been your leading lady?
Alias, because Jennifer Garner.
You'd bring her back again? You wouldn't
do that with them. Do the freaking Shatner. Bring them back. They're still around.
So here's the thing. When I first saw Alias, I was like, doggone it, that looks like a remake of Nikita. You know Nikita?
Yeah.
Spy.
Okay.
That was what I thought.
All right.
Okay.
So why are we stopping this? The production still can keep going.
I hear it. As long as you keep the you got to remember, you only got a $5 million budget. Okay?
Whatever. I'm saying I gave you what I was just thinking. I just thought this idea myself.
And it's a good idea, as long as we make sure the studio is okay with the budget. It's fine with that, okay?
If we said Bradley Cooper, why wouldn't they use Jennifer Gardner?
Because Bradley Cooper will probably take the full $5 million. What are you talking about, bro?
I'm saying that he gets a bigger part because he's like a sleeper, he's a double agent that's been hiding in the midst, and that's why he never really tried anything during that time. And it can be like this break of trust, that's the whole thing. And they almost like dual leads in the movie, because obviously he's a big money talent.
Cool, I see it. So I'm gonna bring in my boy Cal. What movie would you want to see brought back if you had the ability to rewrite whatever you wanted or add whoever you want?
What TV show would I want to see become a movie? Is that the question?
Yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No.
Didn't Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not Angel? The popular show Angel?
They were both popular. It's pretty much Buffy the Vampire Slayer's universe, so you could throw him in there with the whole bunch of people. You can make a trilogy out of it. But I would like to see, if I had an opportunity to see, movie, yes. I enjoyed watching that show, all of them, Buffy, and then following it up with Angel. Enjoyed the whole thing. If you could somehow get the other one, that oh man, I hate this point now. I just can't remember some of these actors and actresses' names any longer. After for such a Eliza Dushku. If you could somehow get that other series she was in.
Oh yeah.
Doll series, something like that.
Yeah, Dollhouse. If you could somehow work that one in there too, I'd be like, yeah, this is great. This is a whole series that I enjoyed. But I thought that those 7 seasons of Buffy were, great. Angel, I enjoyed. I thought the ending with Angel was even more apropos. And then I was like, yeah, why don't you guys just go bonkers and see if you can knock out a good trilogy of films and see what the only thing I would say is that if you're going to do the films, I really want to see an ending to this story. Not like, okay, we can just keep this going, but really like a period, not a coda, but a period to these stories at the end of the day, so we can get some definitive ending towards it. Because if not, it just keeps going on. And these are types of stories that I believe should have a definitive end.
I like that. That sounds very good. So here, I would do, being that the studio has given us a stricture that we have to keep the prices under a certain amount, no big stars and stuff like that. I would do The Fog. That is like one of the scariest movies ever made. And
I thought this was a TV show becoming a movie. Why are you doing a movie becoming a movie?
Yeah.
Okay, TV show.
My bad. TV
Buck
show.
Rogers in the 25th century.
24th.
Buck Rogers, you know, I would love to see that as a movie. I think that would be a great adventure situation, especially with the tiger people and all different peoples he had to deal with. And I'm talking about the first season stuff, not the
That's Flash
second.
Gordon. You're confusing the two franchises.
Huh?
There's no tiger people in Buck Rogers.
There's no tiger people in Buck Rogers. You sure about that?
Buck Rogers is with Twiggy,
Yeah,
Aaron Gray,
right.
tiger people in Flash Gordon.
You may be right about that.
You know, the Lion Man and Voltor, the flying people,
But I think that'd be a
being
great.
the merciless.
Yes, I think that would be a great series to come back in because you know there's a lot of written material out there that you can probably adapt, and some of it goes back pretty far. That maybe you may be also able to do it with. It depends on the time. Maybe able to do it with royalty free at this day
Will
and
you
age.
stop trying to be so cheap? We're hypothetically talking about this, and you're going El Cheapo.
Then probably we're
El
not that.
Cheapo, we need money like this to do the Steranko spaceships.
Hypothetical situation, but in reality, just cheap.
Hey, they do TV shows that are for less than money with as much sci-fi effects right now. When you look at the shows that they're able to do, you know. So I'm thinking a nice space opera out there with Buck Rogers, a man out of time, you know, who's trying to survive what happened to the world after he's come back. And of course, being that he has the knowledge of what happened, what he was used to, and dealing with new people, I think that would be a great film.
A space romp that don't have money for any spacesuits, any ships.
You shouldn't even do Buck Rogers since you want to save money. You should do what they did originally. They were asking this guy to come up with the concept for a space thing, and that guy came up with Flash Gordon.
Right, but I mean, I was going to say, put.
So they were like, "Hey, the guy came up with Flash Gordon, but he couldn't use it. So they after you couldn't use Flash Gordon, he came, okay, I can't do Flash Gordon, so let me do Buck Rogers. So why don't you just come up with another name, and you could be fine right there. You could come up with like Jack Flint.
They can move from planet to planet through gates. You know,
I know you could do a Jack Flint horror movie. Jack Flint in the 26th century, and he's stuck in a room, and he has to try to get out of the room, and that's your 2-hour movie. And you could have I guess like a $2,000 budget.
So continue what I'm saying. So
film the whole thing in one day.
On iPhone.
Yeah.
Hey, iPhone videos are good. So like I was saying, so
they would do it in one take.
They'll be going, yeah. So they'll be going from planet to planet through gates and stuff like that. And that's where the action and the battle seems to be coming through. You have someone, you got
to spend money to do that.
We won't be paying. We'll be paying somebody like James Franco and stuff like that to be like the lead. Going through different things, Buck Rogers and stuff like that. I think we should get a pretty good rate with James Franco right now.
I knew you were gonna go with that. I knew that was what you were saying that for.
We can't afford Leonardo DiCaprio, but we gotta go to James, and we'll call it like.
He won't take you on as a director.
Huh?
He needs a real director.
I wouldn't be the director.
What you get? You need someone that costs a lot of money.
Damn. I'll go to one of the best film schools and just have an audition. See.
Yeah, I knew you would say that. I knew somehow. Yeah, I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna get X amount of money. I'll take that money and I'll educate myself as to film and directing. That way we can save money. And I won't have to, come over here and hire this guy, which would actually produce an effective film. But instead of an effective film, we will have saved money. We can do the whole thing in one take.
Why not? I don't see what's the problem with you guys in the multi-take business. One take, if you can do it in one take, so be it. You know what I'm trying to say?
All right, Dole Lamar's had it with you in your cheap budgets.
So,
why don't you just say, I found out who you are. It's Dolomite. Dolomar's is my name. Stealing all your money is my game.
Yeah, Dolomite movie by Eddie Murphy came out. That was wild.
Too bad I can't do any of the Dolomite jokes.
I don't know if it was a legit movie or not. So
why do you think it wasn't a legit movie?
I mean, so the real life of Dolomite is like Jesus. The things he had to do to get those movies off, And
yeah, the thing is, Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's what is it? That was the whole point of it, that he was on a shoestring budget. It was a total wreck. And Eddie Murphy was so into it. People don't really give him credit that he also gained weight for it too. And he's
Yeah,
a guy doesn't like to be. He doesn't like to have too much weight on him. He's not that. He's not that guy. But
yeah. Which is kind of wild, bro.
it's kind of wrong to have a Blu-ray of Dolomite. You need to have a VHS. You need to have something that's not too future, for this sort of thing. But anyway,
Anyway,
All right, so hey, well, hey, thank you guys. It was interesting to hear your choices for budget movies that you would come up with.
I didn't say budget. That's not. We got Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Garner, both movie stars. We gotta have.
So once again, you have fallen out within the parameters that we asked you to do. So, and Kyle,
parameters you came up later.
So
once again, you have proven that there is no price that you cannot slash into a fraction.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it cheap. Cheap doesn't mean there's not quality. Just remember that.
Sound like Jim Shooter when he was talking about the new universe. So somehow I started it, then they cut the budget. What happened? Then the quality left at the same time. It's doing comic books. Ron Friends and Tom DeFalco are doing Spider-Man. What happened when you cut the budget to it? Why does the kicker is not any good?
Why?
I don't know. It's just sucks. You can't. How does that? If the budget was that, then how many titles do you want to do? Cut the budget, and then what happens? What you only can do 4? It's like, no, you cut the budget. He's saying he can't force Miller or Byrne on the new universe titles and tell them don't let them lead the room. Like, yeah, it was basically they couldn't do anything. It was like a Mars production. They couldn't fight. There couldn't be any explosions. Nothing that could happen in the real world where you could see it.
Nah.
He wanted the reality. That's what he wanted. Only Starbrand he could stop a nuclear attack. Shooter.
Yeah, Kickers I thought was the most disappointing one because it was like, okay, we got this whole team of people, only one guy with superpowers. I was like, well, how far are we gonna go with this? We already had that. That was called Team America.
Well, they say that DeFalco wanted to do would be like Mr. Was it Magnificent and his some sort of whatever the team was going to be, and they were going to have this sort of like vehicle, and they would go. I think they're supposed to go to different dimensions, and then Shooter took it and said, "No, don't do that. I want to keep the sports angle, but have them, like that's how it became Kickers. But they still had to work on it. They did 3 issues and bailed, luckily. So they were at the top of their top of Marvel. I mean, outside of X-Men, Spider-Man was pretty big for DeFalco and Friends. So when I still can't believe they actually did the comic. I have to look at it again to believe that. It'd be a shame if one of those new universe titles get turned into a Marvel movie.
Hey, wouldn't it be shocking if you do the not Rebirth, the DC, what was before Rebirth?
Stop it! Don't say the Heroes Reborn, please. What are you talking about?
New 52?
The New 52, in case they did one where they did one of those stories there. People are like, hey, it was pretty well received.
Was New 52 I just was arguing with a so-called dealer online, and he was trying to explain everything to me because I had said some comment he didn't like, saying that the thing we were talking about something current day, and he was going all the way to New 52. It was a back and forth. But anyway, we solved this. Mars is trying to cut my budget for no reason when he didn't tell me I had no budget.
Because if I told you had no budget, you said you couldn't do it. That's what the problem is.
I'm saying that I could get money with those 2.
New 52 is perfect. That's right where Mars lives. That was not necessarily well received, but it made money. Okay, it made a bunch of money for these cats. And once the money started to dry up, they were like, okay, get the old guys back.
So what are they doing now? I mean, isn't DC cutting back right now and stuff like that? I mean,
Everybody's
What
cutting
do
back.
you mean? They had already decided to cut back before any of this other stuff happened. Then they lost Didio. They're still trying to execute some of the plans that he had laid down, and they raised prices on their books. They did very well with that future, the future state, the 2 months with the future state. That did well for them. And all that talk about, oh, DC, they're gonna be, they're gonna be closing down. They're not gonna be publishing anymore. They're gonna license their characters out to Marvel. Nobody's talking about that anymore. So I guess they're making money again. It only took 2 months.
Well, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, that's a good point. That DC was supposed to be gone. And now everyone's moved past that until DC has another problem and say, oh, see, we told you. That was like three years ago.
Liefeld will be back.
They can't understand it. He keeps he keeps pointing out how, he has this drive to continue to do comic books, and the books are getting canceled left and right. But anyway, but the X-Men books do well for him. I can't take that away from him.
no, it doesn't.
What'd you just say?
So no, it doesn't.
Sound like fighting words.
Not fighting at all, bro. Not fighting at all.
We getting A-Rab money.
I was reading this. This is totally. So hey, thanks for listening. Spinner Rack.